Draymond probably is best served in that super sub role, coming off the bench, playing 18, 20 minutes a game, giving a defensive jolt when needed, and it's shifting on the fly. And I don't blame him for being frustrated. And absolutely, from a human standpoint, I understand why he is frustrated, because he's not able to go out on the floor and change the narrative in the way he used to be able to.
Let's talk to Nick about the Warriors. Hey, Guy Santos came on with us yesterday for the second time in like 3 weeks. Is Guy Santos the nicest guy on the Warriors, or is Guy Santos the nicest guy on the Warriors?
Guy's awesome, man. And Mark, what's cool to see, not only is he playing really well and he's got a hell of a personality, but his teammates love him. That's what's so telling to me in watching what's happened especially in the last couple months here. He's got a great outlook on everything. His teammates have rallied behind him. He's playing really well. But I think there are several different candidates for that particular role. I mean, Gary Payton II it seems like a really, really good guy. His teammates like him a whole bunch. Everybody loves Steph. I mean, this is a team that genuinely gets along for the most part. I think the Kuminga stuff was an outlier in that everybody had kind of grown tired of the storyline. They didn't dislike Jonathan, as a person, but I'd say on the whole, this is one of those teams that you look at, and I know they've had some struggles this year, but player to player, everybody's pretty well liked, and Guy is right near the top of that list because they know that he's come in and really improved his game from when he started, when he got here.
And in light of that, how huge was that for those other guys, the others on this team, to go out and get that win against Denver?
Tibbs, that was the best win of the year, flatly, to me. When you're playing without Steph and Jimmy and Porzingis, the illness pops up right before the game, and then 2 seconds before they're about to come out, Draymond's not playing, and they just went and played. And I think Denver took its foot off the gas because they went, you're playing against half of their team. But to the Warriors' credit, they didn't give up. Al Horford probably played the best game of his season. Melton continues to play pretty solidly night to night when he's out there. Pods was 1 for 10, and then he went crazy in the fourth. Those are the feel-good wins that happen a few times a season. Now, I don't know if they'll be able to replicate that, but these next 2 games are very interesting, guys, because they're playing against 2 really bad teams. And the Pelicans aren't tanking because they already gave away that pick, but they might as well be because of how poorly run they are. And then you get to Memphis, who absolutely is. And, these are the games you'd hope they can find a way to win. But all of that is secondary to, of course, when is Steph coming back? And that's the one thing that nobody knows for certain right now. But now 1A to if Steph is coming back is what the hell is going on with Porzingis? And maybe in the next half hour down there in New Orleans, Steve Kerr will pull a little more light onto what's happening. But, guys, I can only tell you, sitting in that press conference room the other day, it was like, oh, boy. Because I said to Steve, I was like, what is it? What is it? The flu? Is it a cold? What's going on? And he was like, we just don't know right now. So the fact that he's not there and that he's out for this one, it's kind of like, all right, well, who knows when he's going to be able to return.
Nick Friedell is with us, and Nick, that's very much so one of the questions we wanted to ask, and this is the way I sort of phrased it. I think you'll get it. Do you know if Porzingis is just regular sick or Porzingis sick? Like, have you gotten any indication as to whether this is just regular sickness and they wanted to keep him away from the guys to not kind of get something going, or is this related to everything he's always dealt with?
Well, Mark, what I can tell you in context is that on Sunday morning, when Kerr made the announcement, he said that Kerr got a text, and it was like, Kristaps is really sick. He's still in the hotel because obviously he hasn't moved in anywhere yet right after the trade. And so the interpretation was, hey, he's sick. He's got a bug, whatever it is. And so then we asked, all right, well, what is the illness? And Kerr said he didn't know. And then after the game, we said, do you have any more clarity? And he said, I haven't gotten anything yet. So the answer from where I'm sitting still right now is we don't know. And again, maybe Kerr shines a little more light here during his pregame press conference. But the second that popped up, you went, uh-oh, because if Porzingis, if this is all tied to the stuff that has really kind of stalled his career the last couple of years, guys, forget the Warriors and whatever happens the next couple months. You wonder if somebody's going to give him a contract, because you need a player to be out there. You want somebody to at least go into a new deal saying, hey, I'm going to try my best to be out there every night of the season. When you don't know if somebody's going to be out there or not because of something that's this debilitating from an illness point of view, I don't know. I mean, for as talented as Porzingis still is, and we saw it in moments during that debut against the Celtics the other night, if you don't know if he can be out there physically, that is not a situation I would want to get back into.
Yeah, especially when it's this sort of untreatable and kind of a ticking time bomb worth of a situation. That makes it even more difficult. Draymond Green, I'm expecting that he's going to be able to give it a go, although the back could flare up and maybe he's not able to, consistently be out there. What have you made of not only the last couple of months for Draymond, but the comments he made on his podcast about how, well, you have one bad game and everybody jumps all over you?
Dibs, Draymond is a very, very proud player, a proud guy. He is built with Steph and Clay, the DNA of the organization. They've won the titles because those guys put it in place and they did it. I think it's really tough on him. I mean, let's be real. And it's the part that I think not just Warriors fans, but fans all over the place forget a lot of the times. These guys are human beings first. You have a guy in Draymond who's going to end up in the Hall of Fame, who has played at a certain high level for years and years, and he's just not the same player anymore. That has got to be tough. On top of the fact that he's made already a media career for himself. He could retire tomorrow and go straight into whatever thing he wanted to do. He's got the podcast running. So I say that because he's well aware of what's being said. It's not just on radio shows like ours. It's on social media. It's day to day. He is well aware of the opinion that's out there. But the reality is that his play can't back up what has gone on in the past anymore, that he's just not consistently the same guy. And that happens in the league. It just is happening at a rough time where the Warriors could sure use his old ability to hit shots, from the outside or play better defensively. I say all this because I think what's happening is what we're going to end up seeing, and I don't know if it'll happen by the end of this year or not, guys, but Draymond probably is best served in that super sub role, coming off the bench, playing 18, 20 minutes a game, giving a defensive jolt when needed. Maybe he can hit a couple open shots when he's given all the space that he's been getting. But it's just shifting, and it's shifting on the fly, and I don't blame him for being frustrated. But if you take Steve Kerr at his word, and I know he said the same thing to you guys through the last few months, guys, all Kerr has continued to say is Draymond understands where he's at, where he is in his career. They've talked about it. They're aware of kind of the change that's happening in real time, and they have to adjust. And part of that is Draymond adjusting to a different role within this team. But that is much easier said than done. And absolutely, from a human standpoint, I understand why he is frustrated, because he's not able to go out on the floor and change the narrative in the way he used to be able to.
Nick, if I gave you 4 young players, I want you to tell me who you think the Warriors are most excited about, unless you want to take option 5 and say none of them. Let's go Brandon Podziemski, Will Richard, Moses Moody, Guy Santos. Who does the organization most want to put their chip into their circle for the future?
Well, Mark, I was listening earlier, and The guys we're talking about, Moody, I mean, the reality is I would probably put Moody at the top of that list, especially because he's already signed. They put the chip in. Financially, they backed up how they felt because they inked him to that deal. The problem there is Moody has been much better the last couple months. He was really good the other day against Denver. But, guys, the ceiling just doesn't seem to be that much higher. It's like he's still young, he's still developing, but this probably is right around where he's going to end up being. I would say out of that list, Mark, are they the highest on Pods out of that group? I think that would be a stretch, but I would say Pods probably has the highest ceiling still out of that group. And what will be very fascinating is what happens in the summer when Pods is available for that extension. How badly does he want to stay here compared to where he could get paid elsewhere? I'm still not sure if Pods is a consistent starter in the league. I absolutely believe, though, that he can become more consistent than he has shown to this point. But again, we're tying into the same themes that the three of us have been talking about all year. And Mark, it's actually funny that you're framing the question this way, because I remember in the beginning of the season, you said, who out of the young guys, who out of this group would you say you have to have a great season from to believe that the Warriors can take another step? And I told you at that point, Pods. And in this conversation, it was still Kuminga. What happens with him? Pods, if he can develop, is going to be able to take the Warriors to a different place than any of the three of the other guys, to me. Now, does that mean that he is going to be one of the cornerstones of the team? We'll see. But that all ties back into, I think, where his talent level could go is higher than any of the others in that group.